anyone here have questions for testifiers on this particular measure? Okay, Senator Riviere for DOT. Ford?
DOT, please. Aloha, Ford. Good morning.
Aloha and good morning.
Thanks to the department for the work in the last year. There's been 3 projects in Ka'ava. Would you know approximately how much money was spent on each of those projects to shore the road up?
The first project that was done actually in 2015 was approximately $4.2 million.
4.2.
The second 2 was actually $400,000, about $200,000 each. That being said, because it was pretty much just a quick repair, as we look for a long-term solution to how to go ahead and fix it.
Okay, thank you. And those funds came out of the SMP?
Actually, yes. We don't budget any emergency work whatsoever. Okay, so if there is emergency work such as what's happened on Ka'ava, we need to go ahead and take the money out of an SMP project and divert it basically to this emergency project. Okay. That pretty much setting back the SMP project that it was slated for.
So when I look at the State Transportation Improvement Plan, there is a project identified as OS 39 for shoreline mitigation in Ka'ava vicinity. It budgets $11.4 million. How long has that project been on the books? When was it first put into the
You know what, let me get Deputy Director Sniffen to take a look at it.
It's been a while.
It's about 6 years.
Oh, Chair, Vice Chair. It's Sniffen from Department of Transportation. You're talking about the shoreline protection project, right?
Yeah, the project that's in the budget that would be money's different than the SMP.
That's about 10 years. It was about 10 years that's been on the plan.
It's been 10 years, and it's been, well, the budget is a 4-year process with a 2-year out period.
Yeah, it's a 4+2.
Okay, so what takes so long? And it's 10 years.
It's
and everybody's seen that road falling in for years. So it became a crisis this year. We have to use SMP money. It's a crisis, and now we have a proposal to take general funds away from other priorities to put it in here. What's going on?
Well, I think if you look at the prioritization throughout, the push has always been for capacity to ensure that everybody's level of service was taken care of as much as possible. We could get people from a place to place throughout the state system as quickly as possible. When we came in, Ford and I looked at it and with the governor and saw that the preservation portion of the budget was pushed out quite a bit. Not saying wrong. I'm not saying that any administration did anything wrong, because we weren't here for the discussions that were happening at that time. But definitely, when we look at our system, look at the emergencies that we've been having, we've adjusted our budget from a 65% capacity. 65% split. Historically, 50-50. The budget was 50-50, capacity and preservation. We adjusted it to a 65-35 split. Even looking at that adjustment was too small. So we pushed it to an 80-20 split now. Looking at all the emergencies that are coming up and the aging system that we have, now it's a 90-10. So we're pushing more towards the preservation side, the system preservation, taking care of the roads and the bridges that we have and the shorelines that we have to ensure that we can preserve the system and it can work correctly.
And so the SMP funds are used also for pothole repairs and things like that. That thing that was in the news yesterday with the freeway, the little piece of metal.
Yeah, so SMP is used for that. The SMP is used to replace those bridge portions that cracked in that area.
Expansion joint.
Absolutely.
That failed. But the potholes and the resurfacing is dedicated.
There's a routine maintenance
program.
Fund for that.
Yeah, it's a different pot of money.
Yeah, and even with that, the routine maintenance fund is the costs that are coming up on routine maintenance are higher and higher every year. Partially because we don't reset the maintenance schedule by reconstructing, repaving, or rehabilitating portions of our highway. That's why we're pushing more towards that portion.
So we also have in our district adjacent, we have another project for Punalu'u and another project for Hau'ula. The whole corridor is under threat. The Punalu'u program is slated for 2018, according to the budget. How confident are we that we're going to get to that part of the budget to go?
I think the states, to talk specifically about projects would be very, very difficult right now. When we're looking at possibly revising the program, revamping the program to push it all towards preservation, to tell you quite frankly, I don't know how confident I am, because there may be other areas we need to reprioritize because of the emergency type situations. we want to avoid as much as everybody else any emergencies. We're trying to do a lot of pre-emergency work as we go through. So I'm not sure. I got to be looking at this from that perspective.
Senator, one of the most difficult challenges that we have today is because of the fact that our state highway fund basically is probably at $30 million. Okay, you can look at that as like a checking account. Okay, so as bills come in, we use that $30 million to go ahead and pay our invoices. We use that $30 million to pay for the federal projects that are going on, and then we get reimbursement. That $30 million actually comes basically from the Department of Taxation on a monthly basis. So you can refer to like the direct deposit that goes into your checking. If we don't have enough money, basically what hits us is the interest. What hits us basically is that we can't pay our federal contracts and get reimbursement. So there's a lot of liabilities that come along with this. Now, that being said, along with that comes the deference of projects. We don't know which projects. Obviously, if we're down to maybe $15 million or $10 million, we're going to probably defer a project that has a little bit more value to it so that we can keep that cash moving forward. This $37 million would not only help us move some S&P projects forward, but to reestablish that checking account balance that we have there.
The projects in the last year we've had, you guys had $1 billion budget of federal funds, and there's questions like, are you guys deploying that money efficiently and appropriately? And you guys have apparently actually accelerated that.
Thanks for the question, because every hearing I go to, I get the same question. The $1 billion that you're referring to has actually occurred in 2010. It literally took them 10 years to get up to this $940 million. So it took the state Department of Transportation a while to get to that number. The 1 year that we have been in office, through Ed's efforts, along with a lot of the members of his staff, we've been able to reduce that. In 2015, we not only had the largest drawdown of $101 million, Ed and his staff also spent $163 million that came in that year from the federal government. We actually spent $264 million in that 1 year through the action plan that Ed and his staff put together along with federal highways. So that number basically is at 479 projects, and it was at about 583 million as of March 17th. So we made tremendous headway, and what we wanted to do is that we wanted to put together a plan that would go ahead and not only reduce the pipeline, but also sustain that reduction over the years. Anybody can go out there and just spend the money. I mean, we refer to it as like a diet. You can go on a diet for 1 week, not eat anything, and lose a tremendous amount of weight. But within the next 2 weeks, it's going to come back. What we've done is we've been very systematic. They worked very hard with the Federal Highways Division, and they've been able to come up with a plan. So, and that $583 million is actually appropriated or obligated to open projects, the 400. So that money cannot be touched.
So I applaud you guys' efforts in that, in moving a big institution in the right direction. So well
Thank
done. Last quick area is on the other side of our district. We have Lani Akea, and we have a pole that's leaning like this right now over the highway. And we can say, well, that's Hawaiian Electric's problem. And so what has Hawaiian Electric done? They put a bunch of bricks on this side to counterlever it. This road is eroding, and it has been in the budget for more than 10 years with funds to figure out shoreline mitigation. In 2007, the legislature appropriated $1.2 million to study an alternative to wiggle the road to do something. In 2007, 1.2 was appropriated. Where are we with the Lani Akea solution? Are we looking for a problem before that becomes a crisis?
I think right now we're finishing up the EA by the end of this year, which is going to give us the solutions for the route. That being said, I don't know when we're going to fund it. I really don't know when we're going to fund it.
But the alternatives are. I just want everybody in the room to hear that by the end of this year,
yes,
we will have that environmental study.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.